I was raised in a Christian home. I had birthed my parents. Growing up, my life was pretty much normal for the most part. I can remember from an early age having same-sex attractions, but I never acted on it, around that time because I was still young, growing up, coming up, a teenager, very much going to church. In high school, part of the Bible study club, played just about every sport. And graduated high school, went to college for a little bit. 9/11 happened. I joined the military. I was in the military for 2.5 years. Have a lot of experiences there. I got sent to Iraq in 2005, the infamous R.A.W prison. I came home and my life started to change drastically from that point. And this is about 2005, still 2006. I remember being very depressed from the things I've seen over there, very sad, very upset that I was a part of it. And I remember feeling like I didn't deserve to live. So I was like, you know what, God, this is it. This is it. I'm done. I thought I was gonna kill myself and still go to heaven. I was like, this is it. I'm not playing. I'm gonna do it. I don't want to live anymore. So I was at my parents' house. I wrote a suicide note, put it in my drawer. A couple of days passed, and I was supposed to pick my brother up from work one night. And I was hanging out with my cousins, smoking and joking. And time passed. I really didn't know what time it was. So we all decided to go to my brother's job. I told him, like, look, I got to go pick him up. So we all got in the car. We went to the job. He wasn't there. I had missed him. I was late. So I went home. I was home with Mom. Went to sleep. Woke up the next day. My mother and I were still waiting. My dad was at work for my brother to come home. So we get a knock on the front door. My mom answers, and it was my cousin, and he's a police officer, and a man in a suit. So I was standing behind my mom, looking, not really knowing what was going on, but she was well aware of what was going on. So she said, just tell me. She said, is it Tony? And my cousin said, yes, Aunt Ida. And she was like, well, she said, just tell me, is he alive? Is he dead or is he in jail? And he said, can I come in? And she was like, no, just tell me what's going on. So he said, well, he's dead. So that hit me like a ton of rocks. So my cousin came in with the guy he was with, which I believe was the coroner. I'm not really sure. And so my cousin came in, he talked to my mom. He was like, Jess, I need you to call, everybody in the family. He was like, I'll call Uncle Norwood, which is my dad. So he called my dad and spoke to him. So before I made any phone calls, I went upstairs, got the suicide note that I wrote, and I ripped it up. And now that I think back on it, I truly believe that my brother's death saved my life. Even though maybe a small part of me was like, well, maybe you still could do it, but and I know it would break my mother's heart, because that would have been 3 children that she would have lost. So fast forward, after my brother died, I basically lost my mind because of everything else I was dealing with. I got started selling drugs. I was still living in New Jersey at the time, so I knew I couldn't do that living at my parents' house. So I moved, probably moved 5-6 blocks away, and I was doing my thing, hustling, blah blah blah. Really wasn't happy. Was just getting deeper and deeper in the sin. I came to New York in 2008, and I was living with my brother in Harlem. I ended up going to a shelter. So I probably stayed in a shelter system for like a year and a half before I got my own place, which was also in Harlem, but the west side of Harlem. I was still selling drugs. I ended up being arrested, went to jail, and I went to jail for possession of marijuana. So that happened, and I really couldn't believe that I was being arrested for that, but I was like, but out of all the things I did, God, really? I get arrested for possession of marijuana? So I got arrested for that, went to jail, came home the next day, but in the midst of that, the judge told me, stay out of trouble for 6 months, and this will be off your record. I think probably not even 30 days later, I was arrested again for possession of narcotics. So I went to jail. I stayed for like a week. They released me, came home. Maybe not even 2 weeks later, I was arrested again. And that time I stayed for 3 months. I was in Rikers Island, and it probably took me about 2 weeks to really realize, like, okay, this is real. This is now. All right, this is serious. I don't know when I'm going home. I don't know what's going on. They was talking about giving me minimum 14 years in jail. So anyway, I ended up being put into the diversion program, and I ended up going to a veteran program, but it was a rehab, but it was for female veterans. So this is how I ended up in upstate New York. I was still very much unhappy. At this point, I guess very deep in homosexuality, same-sex relationships, and that lifestyle's pretty deep into it. So I'm in the rehab, and I had a few relationships with females that didn't work out, because it never really does, because that's not of God. And I went to jail for those relationships while I was in rehab. I was rearrested. So after being in the program for about 2 years, I met a pastor. The pastor of Shiloh Baptist Church, an awesome man of God that I love very much. Who, when I came out the program, who helped me a lot. I was still on probation after I graduated the program for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. So that involved me going back and forth to New York City about twice a week. I was doing that, going to court, going to probation, being drug tested. I was in step 1. This pastor, also man of God, of Shiloh Baptist Church, I met him, and I could talk to him and ask him questions, and he would counsel me. So I graduated. Step 1, I was complete. I had no more legal connections. I was done with everything. So from there, I just started partying, dating women, sleeping with women, partying, working, doing everything I could. I was at every party, turning up on every scene, but I still was not happy. I was surrounded by a lot of people, but none of them were my friends. None of these people cared about me. None of them, it wasn't anything uplifting or edifying about being around these people. But yeah, I continued to put myself in the midst of them, continued to party with them, continued to smoke and drink and get high with them. And God was tugging at my heart, and I was just like so unhappy. And I was becoming really, really, very, very depressed again. Just very depressed. And so one night, I was just in my apartment, and I was talking to God, and I was just crying. Like, God, I'm sorry. I messed up. I know what's wrong. Just, give me another chance, and I'll do it. I really want it. I want to be happy. So God just started dropping little things in my spirit to stop having sex, stop smoking, stop drinking, stay away from this person, stay away from that person, stop going to parties. You say you want this, but it's not. It's not going to be. He didn't make it easy for me like he did all the other times. I said, oh God, please take me back. I'll do it. But this time it was, you have to first stop doing this. You have to first stop doing this. You have to stop doing that. So I stopped smoking marijuana. I stopped getting drunk. I stopped having sex. Stopped having same-sex relationships. Matter of fact, I cut all those women off. All of them. I don't even talk to any of them anymore. Not for anything. So I would meet the First Lady of New Beginnings Church through a woman who worked at the rehab I was in while I was there. So I met the First Lady before I even started coming to the church. I met the First Lady, and she was just like such a beautiful person. And she was always like, "Oh, when are you going to come to church? When are you going to come to church? When are you going to come to church?" And I was like, I will. But my thing was, like, I knew that when I came back to God, he was not going to be playing with me. Like, I had to really do this thing. So I would always tell her, like, I will. I'm just not ready to be under God's will yet. I still like doing, at this point, what I want to do when I want to do it. And I don't want God telling me what I can, and what I can't do. So I met the First Lady before, I even came to the church. But I had been watching the church for a very long time. Watching New Beginnings Church, watching people come in and out, making sure everything was running smooth. Like, okay, Tuesdays they have Bible study. I want to see if they're going to be there next week for Bible study, and they were. And I watched them, and I was like, okay, on Sundays, church started at this time. I want to see if they're starting church every Sunday at the same time, or if they're doing this on a Thursday, if they're doing this every Thursday. I would just watch the church. I watched the people go to church. So I did that for about a year. And as I was saying, I was in my apartment, just God, please, please, please. And he gave me a list of things to do. Stop having sex, stop smoking, and, stop hanging around with people who I thought were my friends, which was out of everything, I thought the smoking marijuana and the sex were going to be the hardest things for me to do. But the hardest thing for me to do was letting people go. Letting certain people go. Because I didn't understand why I had to let these people go in order for God to work in my life. And I just didn't understand why God wanted it to be that way. But now I know he just wanted to get me in a place where he could work on me, and where I could be focused, and I can hear, and I can listen, I can follow instructions. And one night I was in a Chinese store, and Pastor Jason was in there with his wife, and he was like, when you coming to church? And I was like, I don't know, Pastor, I'm not really ready to be submitted to God. I still kind of, I was ancient. I was getting closer. I'll be there soon, but I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to listen to God. I'm not ready to take instructions. But giving my life back to God was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I have so much peace in my life. And even in the beginning, when I was coming back and I was telling Pastor, I was like, I don't know, Pastor, I've been through a lot and I really don't trust people. I was like, people have disappointed me and used me so much that I don't know about the people in this church, Pastor. I don't know about this. And he was like, all right. He was like, you got to stay connected. He was like, if you stay connected and you come and you work, he was just like, everything is going to be okay. And that was 7 months ago. And I've been here and I've been coming. And my life has improved so much, and I'm around women of God who are uplifting, women who love me, women who edify me. It's just such a major difference between the women that I see and respect and I spend time with now, and I have clean, healthy, enjoyable fun than when I was out in the world, smoking, drinking, getting drunk, waking up in my own vomit, not knowing who I'm laying next to in the bed. Just like, oh God, please, I hope I didn't do anything, looking over like, who's this? And, just doing those type of wrongdoings. That spirit of wrongdoing has been removed from me. I'm enjoying my life. I'm at peace. I have a new job. I was working at a company, at a car service for about 2 years. And I remember someone saying to me, you'll never be able to get another job. You'll always have that job. That's where you're going to be. That's what your life is. You're not going to be able to get another job. You won't ever get out of there. I have 2 jobs now, 2 different jobs. All thanks to God. God has been moving in my life and improving, and I have so much peace in my life. And even in the storms, when all hell is breaking loose around me, I have peace in my life. Like, it feels so good, and I wouldn't trade this peace that I have in my life right now for anything or anyone in the world. So at the time when I was sleeping with women, I've always known it was wrong, and you're never going to get me to say that it was right, because it is wrong, and I knew it was wrong, and I continued to do it. Even at times when I was being convicted, I continued to do it, and I ignored God, and I pushed it to the back of my head, and I continued to do what I wanted to do, even though I knew it was wrong, and same-sex relationships are wrong. And that's what God says in His Word, and I believe everything that's in the Bible. So, in the midst of me for the last time asking God to take me back, and that was one of the big things that I wanted to be delivered from. Being a lesbian, homosexuality, I really wanted to be delivered from that. So that's why I guess why God was a big part of it, was for Him to tell me, like, you have to stop having sex. And so I stopped having sex, and that made it, because that was the only reason why I really spent time with females anyway, because I do not have a lot of female friends. So if I have a few platonic female friends, but for the most part, any woman that I was with, it was just for sex, and it wasn't for anything more, unless, I loved a woman like a sister. So other than that, that's all it was. It was just sex, and I never seen myself marrying a woman, or living with one, or being in a relationship for years and years. That wasn't my thing. My thing was sex, and that's what it was for me. And God's love really changes people, and God's love has changed me. And what I was looking for in the world, what I was looking for from women, what I was looking for from friends, they couldn't give it to me. Nobody could give it to me. Not my mama, not my daddy. No man, no woman could give me what I was looking for, but God, the love and the void and the emptiness that I was feeling in my life. Only God can give that to me.
I baptize you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy
Spirit. And once I fully surrendered and said, God, I'm here, I'm yours, I'm broken, I have nowhere else left to go, nowhere else left to turn but to God. And God began to heal me and begin to restore me and begin to love me and just love on me and love me and love me and give me that peace in my life that I was looking for everywhere else, in the bottle, in the drugs, in the women, in the sex. God began to give me that through His love. And I love God. God changed my life tremendously. His love it's like, I don't even really have the vernacular to describe the presence of God. God's love is so awesome, and I would encourage everyone to try God, because He works, He's real, He's alive. And God gave me what I was looking for in love, and I just fall in love with God over and over again, and it's an amazing feeling. God's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, if you ever party with me in Ellenville, then you know me. You know a lot of things that I said are true. If you just know me in general, you know everything I said is true. If you've been at a party, you see me passed out in my own vomit. If you've been to a party, you see me drinking, acting crazy, smoking weed, playing cards, being cool, I just want you to be encouraged. And I want you to know that God love can and will change you if you allow Him to. I was delivered from depression, homosexuality, lesbianism, suicidal tendencies, and my life is great. I'm happy. I wouldn't go back. I don't want any of my old friends back at all. I love my new life. I love my new friends. I love God. I love the people that God put in my life. I love my pastor. I love the pastor of Shiloh Baptist Church. I love the men and women of God that God has placed in my life. And I love the changes that's taken place in my life. And God has delivered me restored me. And I just want you to be encouraged. Give God a try. It works. He's a healer. He's a redeemer. He's a restorer. That love that you're looking for, you're not going to find it in that relationship. You're not going to find it in that big house. You're not going to find it in that fancy car. You know, you're not going to find it smoking marijuana. What you're looking for, only God can give you. Only God can give you the love that you're looking for in those different things. My name is Jessica Allen. I'm a woman of God. I've been healed. I've been delivered. I've been transformed. And this is Raw.